Hello, so this is a quick synthesis demonstration video for my FMP week. I'm not even going to say because I'm not sure what week. But yeah, Ian kind of said to do a new and updated version. I think he was right. Sorry, just setting up. Yeah, I wasn't particularly in-depth last time, so I thought to kind of attempt to make a more detailed version this time. I'm not going to do it in the context of a song. I'm just going to show you, some basic principles of synthesis, or at least how I interpret them. So yeah, start off with this Roland in particular. I've written up a bit about it in the project. It's got 8 of the first number patches and 8 of the second, meaning there's, you'd think 88 patches, but because there's no 9 and 0, it's 64 patches. So a patch basically means a preset, such as like a VST or something, quite similar, except it's in physical form. So it's actual electronics inside it, kind of like voice chips, specifically voice chips, working to create said sound. And it's got, 3 different voice chips, I believe, or 6 maybe. So yeah, it's a genuine sound. It's older tech, but it's nice. You always get a nice sound out of it. So yeah, to begin, if I pick a random patch here, I might go into group B and select 61. That's nice. So yeah, I'll begin by explaining the envelope, which I think is the real basis of all synthesis. Envelope contains 4 elements: the attack, the decay, sustain and release. And start off by going with attack, which naturally comes first. I've got this attack on 0, so I'm going to press this key. It's instantaneous, right? I can start working on this dial right here, this A. If I increase this even further, this is 10, by the way. So yeah, attack basically works in video form. You'll have the wavelength, and obviously it would start, well, not obviously, it would start at 0, because there's no sound being emitted, and basically the wave indicates how much volume there is, how much gain, sound, decibels. So starting off at 0, a sharp attack will give it a really sharp uptick to start off with as the initial attack of the sound. A long one will cause it to be more delayed, or the process to be more delayed. For purposes of this, I might choose something quite short. Not quite short like that, but maybe. You can often find that when you don't set it to 0, you give it a little bit of space, it can be a little bit softer and nicer on the ears, which is generally what I go for in my music. Easy listening as compared to, you can already feel the slight difference. And yeah, next we've got decay. So after that initial wave has attacked, the decay is the setting for how long it will take before it decreases to the sustain level. So, and the sustain being the next step I'll explain later, is the bit after, where your sound has already decayed and now you select what level it sustains at. But before then, decay. Once again, if I set it quickly, instantly decays. If I set it quite high to like a 6, it's probably where I want it to be, right? That's kind of what I wanted to demonstrate. If I'm to set the sustain up a level, when I press this button, you can actually hear how quick it decays. It attacks and then decays to the sustain, which has its own sound, you know. It could be interesting, but you know, I'm gonna want to turn it up a little bit. Don't mind having the sustain where it is a bit lower, but by increasing the attack, I'll make sure the sound doesn't drone on for too long. I might lower a bit. So it gives you the clarity of the note initially hitting, but less of the drone and the buzz of, if I'm, say, hitting 4 keys at the same time, without any decay, or with too much decay, sorry. Drones on a bit, so setting that low. You know, finding the sweet spot, which can be quite hard to find sometimes. And finally you have release. You know, the last of the 4 dials. Release simply dictates, you're pressing the key, you take your hand off it. This is with release, say I'll set it to 10. Key's still playing. It's essentially releasing and almost fading the sound out. You know, not to be confused with a fader, because it's nothing like it, but slowly fading it out, still playing. Release on 0, you know, drops instantly. Once again, I think balance is good for these things, you know. In not many applications you'll find yourself setting the release to 10 and setting the release to 10 and wanting the sound to drone on for that long. Maybe for like an ambient sequence or something similar to it, yeah, you'd want that. But on 4 is nice. Also gives me some time in between playing chords. Sorry, it's completely out of tune. Gives you a bit of time afterwards, which of course I have my external MIDI kind of set up, but without that it's very helpful in filling space between chords, where without release you can hear the space in between a bit more. So yeah, I'll kind of glaze over these next ones just because, yeah, the time's kind of gone on a bit. But I'll only describe the ones I use really, because I don't know what all of these are yet. You have envelope and gate, which is a function here. Selected to envelope, it basically abides by the functions of this envelope. Turn the release up. Gate, however, is, I think the right analogy is, you know, you have a gate, it's closed, nothing's coming through the gate. You open the gate, you can go through, in the same way that the gate literally just gates the sound, meaning, oh, and it gates it when you're actually pressing the button down. So that opens the gate, this closes the gate. Whatever, completely out of key, but you know, you get the point. But I want an envelope. Next we have envelope. This is with the envelope all the way up. I might have to turn it down. Again, all of those high frequencies, and essentially it's called just envelope, but what it is really is I'd say it's a high cut filter, in its plainest sense really, where you have this at 10 and everything's coming through. Turn it down a bit, slightly less, turn it down even more. Envelope. Resolution does something similar. Not resolution, sorry, resonance. At 10 it's going to add insane levels of resonance, which, you know, you probably don't want. Keeping it on a cool 4 or a 3. You can still feel it, but you don't hear it as much. Obviously, your frequency again here, a lot of it is focused on frequency. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 0, 1, 2, 3. 0 is the most bass heavy, I believe. 3. You won't be able to hear it too much on here, but I normally set that to a 1 or a 2. If I'm setting a bass sound, I might not even set it to a 0, because it can be quite ugly and overriding sometimes. It's nice to have a nice balance between tones. Next we have noise, which is purely white noise. That's all the way up, all the way down. I might want to put it on 4 again. This gives it a bit of texture. Sub. You can really notice that change. No sub. I'll put it on like, I might turn it up a bit. Down a little bit. See, it's already coming together nicely. You can't actually see what I'm pointing at now, but just trust what I'm saying, please. This is the DCO, that's the waves. Currently it's set to a, I don't know what it's called, like a complex wave. I could set it to a triangle wave and it would have the same kind of tenets, but it would be a different sound. It's a bit more fleshy with this preset. I mean, other than that, that's pretty much all I use. You know, of course you have the portamento. Don't really use it much. It's quite difficult to work with. Chorus effects, which I haven't really touched. I don't even know if that works. You know, LFO. All it does is set a rate. So if I set this all the way up and the delay time all the way down, it should be. Oh yeah, and turn the LFO switch so it's hitting. Now, extreme example, now I'm going to turn this rate down. See, I might like that, but I might turn the LFO down a bit. Almost. I think the rate's fine, but it needs a bit less LFO. See, it's nice. I love this thing. It's got a hint of detuning, but not so much as to be out of tune. It's just giving it texture, that old feel. Delay time as well on the LFO. I'll show you this. Delay time meaning if that's all the way down, LFO triggers instantly. Turn it up, no LFO, but eventually, there, it starts hitting. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all there is to my keyboard. If I'm honest, it has aided my my production quite a lot during this project. And yeah, I hope to use it when I get to Brighton. Other than that, that's pretty much all there is to it. So cheers for listening, Ian, and whoever else is watching. And yeah, thanks.